I'd like to read a statement to update you on a live murder investigation being led by the force following the tragic discovery of 39 bodies inside a lorry container this morning. Shortly before 1:40 a.m. today, we received reports that a number of people had been found inside a lorry's container at the Waterglade Industrial Park on Eastern Avenue in Grays. We believe the lorry is from Bulgaria and came into the UK through Holyhead on the 19th of October. Emergency services attended, but sadly all 39 people inside the container had died. Early indications suggest that one of these people was a teenager, the rest are believed to be adults. A murder investigation was launched and the lorry driver, a 25-year-old man from Northern Ireland, was arrested on suspicion of murder and remains in police custody. This is an absolute tragedy and very sad day for Essex police and the local community.
He's sticking to his guns. The British Prime Minister claims he wants to keep the Halloween deadline for Brexit, despite losing the vote in Parliament.
I think it would still be very much in the best interest of this country and of democracy to get Brexit done by October the 31st. I don't think the people of this country want a delay. I don't want a delay.
This Tuesday, lawmakers backed the substance of Johnson's divorce deal, but not his fast-track timetable. Opposition leader Jeremy Corbyn has refused to back the agreement as it stands.
Parliament should have the necessary time to improve on this worse than terrible treaty.
For now, the legislation is on hold as the Prime Minister waits to secure an extension from the European Union. If the EU were to offer an even longer grace period under UK law, Johnson would have to accept.
Now to the latest on the crisis in Syria. As U.S. troops continue to pull back, Russia is moving in, reaching a deal with Turkey on control of Kurdish territory.
Good morning, George. With America moving out, Syria's future now firmly in the hands of these even more dominant power brokers. Presidents Putin and Erdogan cementing their control of the north. After a 6-hour meeting, the two men agreed a new deal. Turkey will retain its control of the area it's claimed after these last 2 weeks of fighting, but Kurdish forces are now required to withdraw from even more land, a strip of territory to the east and west along the border. Erdogan saying Kurdish military positions are to be destroyed and that Kurdish soldiers will be forced to pull back. His ultimate goal, to resettle 2 million Syrian refugees currently in Turkey into that Kurdish region, meaning the fate of thousands of Kurds already uprooted from their homes is still in the balance. And without their American partners, in the face of a looming humanitarian crisis, the Kurds may have little choice but to accept.
Impeachment inquiry has President Trump firing back, and that is sparking new outrage this morning. The president comparing the inquiry against him to a racist and painful chapter in American history, tweeting, "Take a look. All Republicans must remember what they are witnessing here, a lynching." Now, some of his Republican allies quick to denounce the language, but others defended it. Take a listen.
This is a lynching in every sense. This is un-American. I think lynching is being seen as somebody taking the law in their own hands and out to get somebody for no good reason.
Okay, so let's bring in Terry Moran there at the White House. Terry, this was yet another remarkable moment in this presidency.
It was. The president uses a lot of incendiary language to express his fury at this impeachment inquiry. But for millions of Americans, this crossed a line. The history of lynching in America is a history of pain and terror and racist tyranny. Thousands of black Americans were murdered this way.
We begin with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un's unexpected order. Kim has ordered the removal of all, quote, unpleasant-looking and shabby South Korean facilities at the Mount Kumgang tourist resort, built in efforts to boost inter-Korean exchanges. The South Korean government and political parties were quick to respond.
A key symbol of past inter-Korean cooperation, South Korean tours to North Korea's Kumgang Mountain is at risk. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un ordered the removal of South Korean facilities at the tourist resort, criticizing those who had pushed ahead with the tours. According to North Korea's state-run Korean Central News Agency on Wednesday, Kim looked around the facilities at the Mount Kumgang tourist area that South Korea built when the tours first began. He strongly criticized the buildings and ordered the removal of all South Korean facilities there.
Our most respected leader instructed the removal of all the South's unpleasant-looking facilities after consulting with the South Korean side and the construction of new modern facilities.
There's a different kind of royal drama in Thailand where King Maha Vajiralongkorn has removed his junior wife of her titles and military ranks just 3 months after appointment as royal consort. He accuses her of disloyalty and of seeking to undermine his senior wife, Queen Suchita.
When Sininat Wangwajirappak became the king's consort in July, she entered the secretive inner circle of Thailand's powerful royal family. Also known as Khoi, the 34-year-old used to be an army nurse, trained pilot, bodyguard, and a major general. For several years, she was seen at the side of the king. But this year, Sininat's status was formally recognized on the king's birthday. She was the first woman to receive a royal noble consort in nearly a century.
Hong Kong officially withdrew on Wednesday the extradition bill that sparked months-long mass protests across the city.
As a result of the divided public in regards to the bill, there have been conflicts within society. I formally announced the withdrawal of the bill.
As the legislature formally killed the controversial bill, extradition to mainland China will not happen. But it's unlikely to quell the unrest in Hong Kong, as the decision is only one of 5 demands of what has now become a full-blown pro-democracy protests. Apart from withdrawing the bill, the protesters have been calling for the authorities to allow direct election of the nation's leader, an amnesty for those charged with rioting, and resignation of the current leader, Carrie Lam.
Good evening. It came out of the blue, an unwanted knock on 115 doors from 5 Dock to Parramatta and Westmead. Hundreds of people told they're going to lose their homes and businesses, steamrolled to make way for the sparkling new Western Sydney Metro.
They are the heartbreak behind the government's shiny new metro. Martino Colachico has lived at his 5 Dock home since 1966.
What I can say, I've been working for this country. I am Australia.
All his neighbours recently cashed up by selling their properties to Woolworths. The 88-year-old was standing firm until yesterday, when he was given no choice. This nearby stretch of shops will also be demolished to make way for the new metro station.
Was it a surprise?
Of course it is, yeah. It is. No, it's people's livelihood.
In other words, they can launch nuclear missiles. These are Russian jets, and this is part of a rare cooperation between the Russian Air Force and the South African Defence Force. So these 2 planes, the Tupolev Tu-160, otherwise known as the Blackjack bomber, is here, and this is a rare display. It's being described as of cooperation between Defence Force and the 2 countries. Apparently this isn't nuclear capable, these particular planes that are coming through, but these are described as among the biggest military planes in the world, touching ground on African soil for the very, very first time. And this is the cooperation between the Russian aerospace forces and the South African National Defence Forces.
when I hear members say, Eskom must be funded, Eskom must be funded, I say, okay, I agree, but tell me where I should take the money from. But there has to be a give and take.